So let's talk today about the vision I had last night. It was from Odin. It was I don't know if it was a fucking vision, but he was speaking to me through some War track I put on. It was the song Hymn of the Immortal Warriors from their album Gods of War, and it was really speaking to me. I think Odin was actually speaking through it. If you think I'm fucking crazy, well, then you believe in nothing and you're a poser and you have no point besides being an emo nihilist. You should go fucking die. Because that's what they believe in anyways, is they should go be depressed and suffer. But we, our warriors, overcome suffering and depression, and he was a perfect example of that. RAGNE from Heavy Load, who has ascended to fucking Valhalla today. He really was a true metal warrior, and I do not believe it is a coincidence that it happened about this, probably close to around the time I was hearing Odin speaking to me through that Manowar song, because those two bands have a similar vibe. They do like Viking power, muscle, metal, glory. Obviously, Heavy Load did it first. RAGNE probably is the inventor of Viking metal itself. Actually, Nordic probably. I do believe Odin was trying to sneak that another glorious soul has ascended to Valhalla, basically enhancing the strength of all who actually believe in true metal and the old gods. And it's quite important, because RAGNE, he was an embodiment of what it means to be true metal for every moment of his fucking life. If you think about it, his mindset every second was probably, I either play true metal or I am a horrible poser that should be cast out of Valhalla. And fortunately, he chose to be one of the greatest metal fucking lords of all time. There will never be another band like Heavy Load, okay? You don't want to fucking hear it. Heavy Load fucking is glorious, and unfortunately I didn't really know about them until a couple of weeks ago, and I get it, but I get them, especially now that the importance of their main member that he was cast out Valhalla, and Odin was probably speaking to me that there is a higher calling of dedication, honor, and courage, and strength in mind, body, and spirit that I must answer, and I must carry the torch of true metal for all the posers to cower in fear. And what does it mean to be a true metal warrior? Because like I was saying, RAGNE is a perfect example of that. He's immortal, so there is no was. He's just in Valhalla now. To be a true metal warrior, first of all, let's talk about the strength in the body, because all else follows. And if you're not strong in the body, you cannot channel your spiritual strength, mental strength, or any other strength that you have. Whether it's your strength in the heart, your fucking balls of steel, you have to be physically strong to actually channel all that. So I know it's gonna sound corny, but I would rather be a old school bodybuilder getting oiled up by Valkyries on the beach than a poser hiding away in his little freaking suburban house, fucking getting no bitches and not touching grass. I would rather be badass and cheesy than a weakling who hides away with low-key poser armies. So and then another part of the metal warrior life is metalist life, the strength in your spirits, because you have to believe in the gods of metal, and the old gods like Odin is actually uncover what metal is actually about, and the actual spirit behind all the heavy riffs and drums of doom and bass of fucking the ace of the spades. Yeah, let me reference, but really, I mean, you have to be dedicated to the old gods every single second to know what true metal actually is. And I mean, you have to have spiritual strength. You cannot be an empty husk and expect to be full of life. I mean, if you're an atheist, I mean, I can't control that. If you're a Christian, believe in organized religion and all that stuff, I can't control that. But what you can control is the metal warrior spirit that you bring into your life. Whether you believe in Odin and the other old gods or not, and you can still live an epic life no matter what you nominally believe. Because old gods their influence is everywhere, whether you like it or not. Their influence is more subtle than Abrahamic religions and all that stuff, and of course atheisms, but their influence is a lot still there, especially in the true metal scene, like the old gods are. That's literally the way the old gods are speaking to us nowadays, is through the music and the true metal life. And now let's talk about mental strength itself. That it's closely related to spiritual strength. You have to be smart. You cannot be dumb, because you will, no matter how loving, physically strong, or spiritually strong you are, if you are dumb up here, if you are deluded, you cannot be doing the work of Odin. You will always, if you are dumb, end up falling into the traps of Loki and Fenrir and Hel and the other enemies of the Aesir. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of obvious, but you have to be smart. Study the Norse texts and other Germanic texts, because it's not just one book that's the Norse text, you know what I mean? And then you actually, I mean, even if you're not super, like, into anatomy, like, study the muscular system, you know, get to know your own form. I mean, the muscular system is very important because it's the most practical system in the body. It's a system that actually affects what we're doing most of the time. And if you have weak muscles, you can't really do as much as a glorious god of games like me. I don't want to fucking sound stupid, but strength, I mean, beauty is important. It really is. And I know there's a lot of back and forth about, oh well, beauty really isn't that. Beauty is basically ugliness. No, ugliness is not beauty. If you do not try to take care of yourself and improve yourself the best you can, Loki will be smiling more than even Odin, Freya, or Tyr ever would, because Loki wants ugly people ugly of the mind, body, and spirit to be in his poser army. That's also what posers are. It's people who are inauthentic to the spirit of metal and are ugly in mind, body, spirit. Now, strength of the heart. You have to have strength of the heart. Not to be in the true mental warrior life. You have to have strength of the heart, which includes like things such as courage, proper romance. Don't go around being a hoe, getting fucking AIDS. I mean, I know it's a common trope in metal to have a lot of girls, or maybe just rock in general. I don't know, but eventually you can dig through that and see that true metal is different. That you have to be unwaveringly loyal to any cause or any person that you have pledged yourself to. Now, if you've not pledged yourself to anyone, that's different. I guess I can't control the romantic life. Obviously, I'm just saying what it means to be a true metal warrior here. I have already pledged myself to something. Side note, but and then you also have to be courage. You need bravery. You need to tune out all the posers too, because if you let them influence how you think of yourself or what you try to do, you're letting yourself loose. You don't want to do that. Let's talk about balls of steel. Let's talk about balls of steel, like having balls of steel. What does that mean? I know it's a quote from the video game, fucking Duke Nukem, but it actually can mean something, okay? To have balls of steel means you have to be unapologetic with yourself. You have to be completely authentic. You have to be unwilling to change who you are just because one person says, well, I don't like that. And you have to be standing up for freedom, because there's a lot of people these days who are like, I'm offended. And then one day, no one else will be able to say anything to anyone else, because everyone will get offended at everything. You know how ridiculous that would be? Freedom, true freedom, is offensive, and it must be kept that way, and true metal will keep it that way, and we must keep true metal alive for true freedom to survive. That's what it also means to be a metal warrior, that sense of the hearts and balls of steel. And then, what else? I would suggest trying out motorcycles. Why? Because motorcycles are, if heavy metal was an actual vehicle, I mean, when you actually ride, you feel spiritual, physical, emotional, and other whatever strength increasing, because it's just like the Vikings of old who would go out on their long ships over the seas for quote-unquote rides, I guess, over to raid places or go somewhere and live for more freedom. You get that on a motorcycle, you really do. It's really one of the most metal things ever exists is a motorcycle. I know that sounds fucking cheesy too, but it's true. There's much more meaning with this hot chicks on Harleys. You'll feel freedom. Freedom of transportation is incredibly important, just like the Vikings had. And it's timeless too, the timeless badassery of motorcycles. Obviously, remember to study the Germanic and Norse texts. And what else should a metal warrior be doing in their life? What does it mean to be a metal warrior? What is a metal warrior lifestyle? Eat properly at least 80% of the time. Don't try to be OCD, eat clean 100% of the time, because long term that's just going to make you want to punch yourself, because you can't have a dream, something like that. I mean, 80% gets you 99% of the results. So just eating, do you know what would the Vikings or what would ancient warriors eat? I mean, I don't want to get gimmicky, so fuck that shit. I'm just talking about what's basic healthy foods you can fucking think of. I mean, just fucking eat them. It's really not that difficult. Eat your protein. Oh, don't be scared of red meat. Just make sure it's not fucking breaded, because I mean, once in a while that's fine, but a lot of it just gets really fattening. Just have like breaded chicken and shit. I mean, just don't be afraid of red meat. Don't be afraid of vegetables. Don't be afraid of whole grains. Don't be afraid of dairy and eggs. Don't be afraid of like foods that, you know, warriors would actually eat, not some fucking little baby. I mean, you know what I'm saying, right? So you have to have your battlefield on point to also be a true metal warrior, and your training definitely part of your physical strength. You must have your training on point. Your metal warrior training, you must train basically, fuck the science-based shit, just fucking what would think, what would ancient warriors do to train? Oh, they just lifted heavy shit and put it down. So that should be your mindset, because it's either you can be a science-based lifter and get stuck in analysis paralysis, reading more than actually making gains, or you can go actually make gains and learn from your mistakes along the way, which is definitely going to be better for you. And just lift shit. I mean, basic lifts work because those are lifts that have been around for, I mean, in whatever form they were before they were named, you know, deadlifts or whatever, for millennia. Like, just lift shit up and put it down, okay? It's not that difficult. It's who's gonna carry the fucking long shits. And, I mean, I get into even more detail with this stuff, actually, on my social media, both personal and on my Revolutions Instagram account, which are linked in my link tree, by the way, if you haven't even paid attention to that yet. But that's in the description. But I don't want to sound like I'm sponsoring myself here, but definitely go check that out, because I'm more than happy, more than willing to give you advice, especially in honor of the basically frontman of Heavy Load, ascending to Valhalla today. That's what I want to leave on. There's much more I can say on how to be a true metal warrior, but I mean, you probably get it. You have to listen to true metal music, of course, too. I mean, obviously, so go figure out what true metal is by listening to it. Because Heavy Load's a great start. And they RAGNE rest in power in Valhalla, because the guitar is your fucking sword. Goddamn. The guitar is your sword. So fuck yeah. Hail to RAGNE, rest in power, Heavy Load.